It is now time for us to turn our conference over to our keynote speaker. Dr. Michael Lau is a physical therapist and the co-founder of Prehab. Michael graduated from the University of Southern California, where he received his doctorate in 2017 and completed his undergraduate studies at UCLA. As a team of doctors of physical therapy and certified strength and conditioning specialists, Prehab teaches people how to use the same reactive strategies that we use with patients in the clinic and apply those concepts in a proactive manner to decrease the risk of injury, a concept better known as rehab or preventative rehab. His vision is to provide universal access to healthcare through prevention and optimization, which he believes can be accomplished through a blend of technology and omnichannel content. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Lau.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? This is really just very, very cool and exciting that there is even a pre-PT conference. I remember when I graduated in 2017, it was my third year, and there were talks about this conference being started, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So the fact that it's here, 7, 8 years later, and then this is the 8th conference that you guys have had, is absolutely amazing. I'm really, really also honored to be here today, and to be honest with you, I'm very fired up, and I hope I don't get off topic. There were so many people that played such an influential role on me, not even just high school, undergrad, graduate, even postgraduate, and to even potentially play that role for those of you here in the audience is it's a true honor. I'm actually kind of curious. Raise your hand if you are absolutely certain that you want to be a physical therapist and go to PT school. I just kind of want to get a sense. That's amazing. Okay, hands down. And what if you are interested, you know you're interested in becoming a PT, but you're not fully 100% there, and that's maybe why you're here today? Raise your hand there. Okay, that's great. Well, if you're not sure, I want to let you know that it's totally okay, and you are 100% not alone. It is absolutely normal to not know what you want to do next. I was in your shoes exactly 10 years ago today. This is March 2013. I was a senior at UCLA, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. That's about it. I was in the pre-med route, like I assume many of you were. I knew my interests, again, were healthcare. I thought maybe I'll be some sort of healthcare professional. Maybe I'll be some sort of consultant in the healthcare space. But that's all I knew. I didn't even know that physical therapy as a career even existed when I was in your shoes at this point as a senior. So again, if you don't know, it is totally fine and totally okay. Like I hope many of you are doing now, I hope you're an undergrad and you're enjoying your time there. I think being an undergraduate student is so important to learn who you are, learn your identity, learn to communicate, and learn more about the world, more so than it is the actual classwork that you're getting in school. The fact that you're even here at this conference today means that you are light years ahead of most people. You already have an idea that you want to be a PT, and for many of you here, you already know that you want to be a PT and you're on that route. So don't let the thought and the unknown of the future hold you back from enjoying the present. Undergrad is great years. Don't let them pass you by. It's only 4 years. Enjoy them. Also, something to note, you do not need a perfect GPA to fulfill your dreams. When I graduated as a senior, I had a 3.43 GPA. It's okay. It's definitely not a 4.0. Know that you do not need a 4.0 to go fulfill your dreams and go on to grad school. When I was graduating, my dad asked me in May, this is in 2013, so hey Michael, what do you want to do? You've had a couple months now to think about it. I asked you a couple months ago. I said, maybe I'll be an orthopedic surgeon. I think that's cool. I like sports. I like healthcare. I think being a doctor sounds really, really cool. But then I started doing more research and I said, shoot, that's another 4 years of med school. That's another 4 years of residency. That's another 3 years of a fellowship and likely another 2 to 3 years of another fellowship because you have to specialize. That's 11 to 14 years. And then for me, being an entrepreneur, owning my own practice and being able to make decisions that I thought were important was extremely important for me in my career path. To do that, as an orthopedic surgeon, you need to be practicing and build a reputation for probably 3 to 5 years. If you think about where healthcare is at now, everyone is part of a big corporation, UCLA, USC, Kaiser. It'd be really hard for me to step into that route. I may be 40 by the time, for me, I achieved something that was important in my career path. So I soon said, okay, I don't think orthopedic surgeon is the right route for me. Let me go back to the drawing board and think about this again. Luckily for me, by the time I graduated, luckily for me, I had a friend that was a PT aide at a physical therapy clinic here in Century City. He was about to graduate and attend USC for his DPT, and they needed to find a replacement. I said, heck, why not? I could make some money on the side and maybe get some firsthand experience if PT is right for me. Within 2 weeks of working as an aide, I knew that physical therapy was the career and the profession that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. To have the impact that I could have as an aide, working with patients and knowing that I played a pivotal role in helping them get out of pain, getting back into the gym, and then hopefully achieving their goals, it was amazing for me to see that as just a PT aide. So there is no better way to figure out if PT is right for you than directly immersing yourself in the field. There are so many ways to do this. You can become a PT aide or a tech like I did. You can work the front desk. You can volunteer and shadow. I highly, highly recommend that you do that, and I think now PT schools, they force you to do that. When I applied 7 years ago, it wasn't even a requirement. Like, that's kind of crazy. You're hedging all your bets, going into DPT school, taking out loans, and you may not even know if it's the right thing for you. So definitely go and volunteer in multiple settings. Also understand that not every physical therapist, not every physical therapy clinic, or every physical therapy owner is going to be the same. My actual first experience in PT, when I thought back on it after I went to PT school, I was probably in middle school, and I saw my grandpa, he had taken a fall in the hospital. And at the time, it didn't even register with me because I saw that setting, at least for me, the hospital setting, and I knew that wasn't the setting that I wanted to be in. I volunteered after that in a sports setting and said, oh, this is kind of cool. I actually think I could do this. And then finally where I landed my job, it was in a gym. And it blended all my passions of the sports side and the gym side with the rehabilitation side. And I knew right away, that's what I want to do. So definitely volunteer in multiple different settings. I want you to ask yourself, spend 15 seconds right now. Why are you interested in becoming a physical therapist? Just think on that for about 10 or 15 seconds. Maybe you had an injury or a surgery, or you worked with an amazing clinical physical therapy team that had a profound impact on your identity and your life. Does that sound like anyone here? I'm just kind of curious. Raise your hand if that's you. That's amazing. Maybe you had a parent, a friend, or a loved one have a traumatic injury, and you saw them go through the rehab process, maybe something like a total hip or a total knee replacement. Does that sound like anyone here? It's also amazing. Or maybe you've experienced firsthand how absolutely broken our healthcare system is, and you want to make a change for the better. Now, I understand not everyone raised their hands for those two reasons, but what I do know is that, and what I'm willing to guess, is that everyone here wants to make a difference. Everyone here wants to help people. You want to have an impact on society and leave the world a better place than when you found it. There are so many ways as a physical therapist that we can make a difference and that we can make that impact. As a physical therapist, we can do all that and more. We get the ability to spend anywhere between 15 to 60 minutes with the patient, hopefully one-on-one. In addition to that, we get to see hopefully anywhere between 8 to 15 patients a day, every day. That's so many lives that we have the direct ability to impact. But what if I told you that there are so many other ways that we can make an impact outside of direct patient care? You can get into research. It doesn't even have to be within the field of PT, and you can advance what clinicians utilize with their patients. You can get into academia. That could be teaching the next generations of PTs in physical therapy school. That can be in college. That could be in high school. It could be in elementary school. Having an impact on someone like yourself, guiding them along that journey. Or you can make a difference by focusing on public health and entrepreneurship and outreach. Maybe you have a bright idea that you want to put into motion. Entrepreneurship in particular opens the doors for an unlimited amount of ways to make a positive impact on society. Knowing and remembering your why is going to be the single most important thing for you in your career. It's what's going to keep your passion burning. It's what's going to keep your fire burning. There's going to be hard times, not just in school, but once you graduate and you're in your career. If you know your why and you remember that, it'll keep you going for the rest of your life. So remember that why. Whatever that 15 seconds when we had you guys think, please remember that why. Influence. So, influence. The route of outreach and entrepreneurship is the route that myself and my business partners at Prehab chosen to make. We wanted to make a difference by exerting influence, specifically through social media. Influence is defined as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself. We wanted to exert influence on people, teaching them how to take control of their health. If you're asking yourself, how does social media exert influence, or why does it even matter as a healthcare provider? Well, let me show you. There are over 8 billion people in the world today. If we look here at 2023, we're at social media accounts, 4.89 billion with a B social media accounts. That is over 60% of the world's population that has social media. If there is no better way to get your message out and have influence than through social media. As a physical therapist working one-on-one with the patient in front of you, you are directly impacting influence on that person, whether you know it or not. Social media is an extremely powerful tool that everyone here with a phone can leverage to bring about awareness literally just about anything. It could be your dog, your cat, your profession, or it could be what you ate for breakfast this morning. Mass awareness is achieved because it cuts through the barriers of time, cost, location, and access. With this little phone, we can cut through all those barriers and reach people around the world, anytime and anywhere. Only once you have awareness do you potentially have the ability for someone to actually trust you. And only once someone trusts you, only once they trust you, do you have the ability to potentially influence them and exert influence and change their career path or their decisions or their thinking. And let me tell you, when you become a physical therapist or a healthcare provider and you have a patient in front of you and they're hurt, they're in pain, they're confused, and they're looking for you to help, that patient in front of you is not going to listen to you if they don't first trust you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to listen to your advice. They're not going to do the hard work that they have to do in rehab to get better, and you're not going to be able to impact influence on them. So trust is so, so important. It all could start with social media, but it doesn't have to. Taking a step back, healthcare professionals exert influence, and it's our responsibility to use it wisely. Our words and our actions matter. Healthcare is, we'll get to some of the problems in healthcare, but a lot of it comes down to a lack of education. A healthcare provider, somewhere along the line, told a patient a false narrative that that patient now thinks is their identity, and they take that home with them. Half of what we're doing, if not more than half of what we're doing in healthcare, is battling false narratives and poor education that someone may have received in the past, let alone the actual current problem that the person's coming in for. Placebo, have you guys all heard of the word placebo? Placebo is a real effect. It is not a fake effect. In research studies, it's a real effect that happens. Placebo is when someone trusts or believes something to be true. Placebo can either help or it could hurt the person. So remember, when you're going into healthcare, as a future healthcare provider, your words and your actions matter. Please remember that. Fast forwarding a little bit to 2015, I took a gap year. I've been speaking to some of you guys here. It's totally okay to take a gap year, 2 gap years, 3 gap years. I had so many of my classmates that this was even a second career for them. And they were in their 30s when I was a 23-year-old going into DPT school. But PT school, man, it is so fun. It is the first time you're actually learning things, in my opinion, that you're interested in and that you care about. You are passionate about everything that's presented to you. I went from the kid in undergrad who probably was skipping any class before 10 a.m. to the kid sitting in the front row at every single class, asking questions, getting involved with every single extracurricular event that I could think of, learning so many cool hands-on skills, getting to experiment with some of the coolest equipment like the Alter G that I just showed you, and learning and practicing all the time with your classmates. It was so, so fun. And there's so many ways to get involved just like this. There's student special interest groups, there's pre-PT conferences. It's just, again, it's the first time that your coursework, I feel like, actually speaks to you and it matters. However, by my second year in PT school, I learned, unfortunately, 3 hard truths about the field of physical therapy. Truth number 1, physical therapists can help just about anyone through giving people the tools they need to take control of their health. I truly do believe this. We can help just about anyone out there because everyone has a body, everyone moves, and that's our specialty as movement experts. Number 2, education is the key to prevention. If people learn what to do and how to do it, they can address issues before they get bad and prevent small issues from turning into chronic illness. But it all starts with educating that patient in front of you on what they're dealing with, why they're dealing with it, and what the plan is. You're going to learn so many cool things in PT school about the shoulder, the anatomy, and it's important to learn that stuff. But understand how you treat a shoulder and how you progressively overload a certain body region is the same exact thing for someone's knee. It's the exact same thing for someone's ankle, the exact same thing for someone's hip. The principles are what's important. The specificity is important to learn, but the principles of rehab are the same no matter what body region or person is standing in front of you. The third and the saddest thing that I learned a year into PT school is that the public has no idea of the value that we as PTs can provide. There was clearly a disconnect between what I believed physical therapists can do and what the public viewed us as. And that's something that I hope to change. That led us to the birth of Prehab. With my two partners and best friends, Rosh and Craig, we decided to start an Instagram page in the second year of our DPT program to tell a better story about the profession and educate people on their bodies. We asked ourselves, how can we influence society? How can we bring more awareness to our profession and show the value that we can provide? Again, we understood that social media was the key to exerting influence. So we literally started an Instagram page over winter break. This is in the basement at USC, kind of like the basement here. We said, hey, let's start an Instagram page. That's literally the photo of us from there. And from there, it continued to grow and continue to grow. From the beginning, we posted one post every day. That was our only goal. We wanted to post one post to tell a better story about the profession and educate people along the way. These are some screen caps of our early videos. We literally filmed these in the classroom at USC when class was at 6 p.m. We filmed them at the gym, and we filmed them at each other's homes. Again, just using something as simple as a phone and reaching people around the world using something as simple as a phone. From the start, we listened to our followers and their pain points, their frustrations with the healthcare system, and we've started to formulate what our vision would be. Our vision is universal access to a healthier life through prevention and optimization. And we aim to achieve that vision by giving people around the world the tools that they need to take control of their health. We accomplish this through providing free education through our YouTube, through our podcast, through our blogs, and our other social media platforms. We want people to know that they always have options. It's their right to make informed decisions about their health and never accept suboptimal healthcare. We always want people to have decisions. Since then, it's just really grown a lot. These are just some of the numbers. We have over 15 million impressions per month on Instagram, 1.5 million followers, top 1.5% of all Apple podcasts, close to 20 million views on YouTube, and 6,000 reads per blog per month. So we are able to impact influence on society if we can educate them first. These are some of the problems when we take a step back and we look at healthcare, and it's quite sad to read some of these statistics. There's over 1.7 billion people living in the world with musculoskeletal conditions. Of those 1.7, 1 in 3 could benefit from our services. But guess what? We barely touch a fraction of a percent of that. Over the last 20 years, 30 years, there's been a 70% increase in years lived with disability. Wait times have also gone up. How many people here call a doctor, a new doctor, and they say they're not accepting patients? Or maybe you have a doctor and you want to get in for an appointment, or maybe you just fell and you're like really worried you have a fracture. Oh, you have to wait a week to get an x-ray. That's not acceptable. That's not right. Wait times across the board, doesn't matter what profession it is, they're going up. It's been a 25% increase in wait times since 2004. Last but not least, the amount of money that we pay for healthcare is absolutely ridiculous. $20 billion that the US spends in healthcare every year. We pay healthcare premiums. My premium is something like $350. It's a high deductible plan. I get nothing out of it. $350 each month I pay for my healthcare, and when I actually need to go see a doctor, I'm still paying cash out of pocket to see a doctor. How is that right? That is not right at all. So we asked ourselves, how can we do our part to fix the broken healthcare system? Because we believe healthcare in the US is on a collision course to imploding. When we think about it, the world continues to adapt to basic needs. Healthcare should be no different. Why is it that you can order groceries when you can do your banking, you can listen to music, you can get something delivered in like 4 hours on Amazon. You can do this all from your smartphone. Healthcare should be no different. So over the years, we've transformed our company from primarily a social media and content-based company to a true health tech company. Our goal is to democratize physical therapy education for patients and cut through the common barriers of time, cost, money, and insurance. The products we have created are our best attempt to fix the broken healthcare system. We never want there to be a barrier for someone getting the help that they need and they deserve. The first product we created, I want to say, was in 2017. It was an exercise library. For anyone that's been a PT before, we know that the exercises and the homework that you are given is how you get better. For some reason, a lot of clinics, when you go to and you get your homework, it's a stick figure drawing that's given to you. That was literally one of my tests in TheraX. One of my practicals was drawing stick figures to draw out the exercise program for our patients. Better than stick figures, maybe at least you get a printout with maybe some pictures in black and white or at least some description. Maybe a little bit better than that, you get at least a video that's 5 or 10 seconds. So what we decided to do was film over 4,000 videos, all about 2 to 4 minutes long, complete what we call tutorial style. It's us talking it out just like we would in the clinic, just like you would with the patient, saying, this is what I want you to do, this is what I don't want you to do, this is what it should feel like, this is what it should not feel like. We put that all in a database that allows other healthcare practitioners, like other physical therapists, but also a lot of coaches and trainers, to form their own custom exercise programs that they can send to their patients. So never again is there a patient that says, I don't remember the exercises, or it wasn't clear to me. That's not an excuse anymore. That was one of the first products we created. So the second one that we came out with, this is actually a physical clinic. We opened up a physical clinic in Culver City in the beginning of COVID, great timing, in 2020. So I'm very, very proud of this clinic. It's a one-on-one concierge model. It's out of network. We do this because we know the service that we can provide and we don't want insurance to dictate it. We know exactly how much it's gonna cost and we're gonna tell you that. Not like I just went to Kaiser 2 weeks ago and I got hit with a $2,000 bill after a procedure. You know exactly how much you're gonna pay. You know exactly what you're gonna get. It's one-on-one with the physical therapist the entire time. There are no aides, there are no assistants, there are no free labor in students. You're gonna be that as a student, you're gonna be working as a clinic, and I hope it's not free labor. You're gonna get all that in this clinic because we know that the time spent with the patient, educating the patient, listening to the patient is the key. We have 90-minute evaluations. I probably only spend about 5 to 10 minutes assessing and about 5 to 10 minutes actually going through an exercise program. I spend an hour sitting down with the patient, listening to them. It may be the first time that a healthcare professional actually sat down with the patient and said, tell me your story, and didn't interrupt at the same time. So listening and educating is the key when it comes to your PT care. The third product we created, these are some slides from our clinic. So this is our amazing team. I'm trying to see what the slides say. And this is our clinic in Culver City. Again, it's a completely different approach to PT. It's an approach that we think needs to be there because the current approach with where the healthcare system is at, we feel is not the standard. It needs to not be. This needs to be the standard. The third product we created, and this is the one that for me, I am personally the most proud of, is a mobile application that delivers everything that we have done over the last 7 years into one easy-to-use mobile app. We provide over 50 programs, 150 workouts, 4,000 exercises, and we package them into complete rehab, prehab, or performance programs for people anywhere in the world to get access to the knowledge that we're able to disseminate anytime, anywhere. Think Peloton-style rehab programs and workouts combined with in-depth exercise tutorial videos that allows patients to get the knowledge that they're seeking from a healthcare provider on the convenience of their schedule when they need it. We are able to teach people what they may be feeling, what that pain actually means, and how to properly dose your activity and exercise in a graded manner. It's everything you need to take control of your health in one application. Our goal with this is that I hopefully never have to see you in my clinic. And to be honest, that I hope most people with minor issues never have to step foot in someone's clinic in the first place. Our healthcare system is overburdened right now. There are way too many people that are trying to seek services, and that's why we have long wait times, and that's why businesses can charge all this money, because they know they have demand. If we can teach people how to take control of themselves, we can eliminate the need for them to even need us in the first place. And then in our clinics, we can work with the people who really do need our help. They just got out of surgery. Someone can't even get up out of a chair under their own power, or they have a complex medical history. Those are the people that we should spend our time and resources on, because there's a lot of other people that could be helped just through education. This is our best bet to decrease the burden on the healthcare system, and we launched it about 7 months ago, so it's a continual learning effort. There are so many ways that as PTs, you can provide value outside of just your hands or even your exercises. It's your knowledge, it's your education, it's what you say that is so valuable to our patients. And now we're learning that we could package that education in so many different ways. It could be a blog, it could be a YouTube video, it could be a podcast, or heck, it could even be a mobile application. Healthcare in the US is predicated on sickness. Providers like myself only get paid if people are sick and we provide a service to sick people. Businesses are encouraged to keep people sick because that's how they keep their doors open. And that's not right. However, if we flip the script and we flip the narrative and we approach healthcare with a proactive and preventative approach that utilizes technology to reach people when they actually need our help, we may actually have a shot at solving the healthcare epidemic and leaving this world a better place for the future generations after us. Now, how can you be part of the change? I've hit on this a lot, but education. Education is how we fix the system and pay it forward. Education is free tips and tricks to help someone who hopefully never has to enter the healthcare system in the first place, because they focused on prevention and optimize their health. There are over 8 billion people in the world. You can and never will be able to help all of them. And trust me, there's enough business to go around. When you provide value and make a positive impact on one person, they will tell all their friends, all their family. They're going to tell random strangers at the park or at their kids' soccer games. And you're going to be able to be not just a physical therapist, you now become their physical therapist. I think physical therapists are uniquely positioned to bring about this change. We know how to teach. We are movement experts. We know how to talk and interact with people. We got into this to help people, and we know how to provide value. DPT. You hear a lot of the negative narratives surrounding the profession of physical therapy. Oh, the loans are really high, reimbursement's low, burnout's super high, maybe there's a glass ceiling. I'm not here to tell you that that stuff may not be true, because it is. However, I think there's never been a better time to become a physical therapist. The problems that I just mentioned, they have forced the profession to either adapt or die, and the profession's not dead. I think we're doing an amazing job at adapting and finding ways that, again, outside of our hands, outside of just our exercises, up here is where our true value is. Never before can we help people in so many different ways. We are just starting to flip the switch and realizing that our minds and our education is what is most valued. Furthermore, we're starting to realize that our unique skill set, those 5 bullet points from the slide before, allows us to work on prevention and wellness throughout the lifespan, not just on sickness. So hopefully for you guys here today, in maybe 4 to 7 years, depending on where you're at, you'll be able to join the amazing profession of physical therapy. You'll be able to get those 3 letters behind your name, DPT, and you'll be part of the fix to the broken healthcare system. Along the path, I do want to remind you, have fun while doing it. Laughter, joy, it's so important, not just during school, but in your actual career. There are so many jobs out there that you make an absolute killing when it comes to your paycheck. But that killing doesn't necessarily guarantee happiness. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a life outside of your profession. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a supportive family. There are so many drawbacks, like long hours, a commute. Know that you have to balance all of that when choosing your career path. Find a career that you are stoked to be a part of every day and that you are passionate about and fired up about. Just wanted to leave you guys with this video. And I want to thank you guys all for joining this conference, and thank you for everyone putting it on. It's been absolutely amazing. And this is my contact information if anyone wanted to get a hold of me. And I did want to say I wanted to provide everyone here with 30 days free to both of those products so you can see other ways, again, outside of your hands, outside of just the programming that you're writing, that you can help people, even if they're not in front of you. Thank you.
So I'm curious, going into the startup of your company, how much experience do you have in terms of entrepreneurship or kind of the business side of it? Was it new to all of you guys, or did you have to develop that?
This is going into DPT school?
Or going into the startup of
Oh, all new. I mean, my dad's an optometrist. He owned his own practice. My mom, I still to this day, she just retired. Still don't understand what she did in real estate, but it's something corporate, very, very corporate. You have to learn as you go. I spoke to all of you guys here, the amazing team that put on this conference, and we were talking about, oh, what school do I go to? How important is it? You know, what's that next step like? Know that you are responsible for making yourself successful, not the school that you go to, not the grades that you get into, not the classes that you go to. You have to be able to adapt and problem solve. Every day we get hit with a new problem. This morning my devs are texting me and there's an issue with the app. I've never experienced it before. And we have to be able to communicate and problem solve, learn from our mistakes, and then hopefully not repeat that mistake again. So you're just gonna learn as you go. There is no playbook to open up your own business or to get into entrepreneurship. You're gonna hear all these people that wanna coach you through that, and coaches are super important. But know that no one has the answer. There is no one way to do something. You just have to put your best foot forward, learn and self-reflect, and then keep going along that path.
So how did you kind of break out of the mold of like traditional healthcare and decide to want to go into preventative? Because I know like after graduating from DPT, there's kind of that mindset of going into traditional healthcare, and it's the insurance plans kind of sticking to that format. So what made you want to break out of that mold of traditional healthcare?
When I was a first year in my DPT program, I went to the California CPTA conference. That was my first time that I even got exposed that there was so much more outside of direct patient care. You guys are an undergrad and you're already being exposed to those things. Having social media is super important to see that there are so many different career paths. I do want to say something, that there is nothing wrong with the traditional career path, and I should have said that earlier. And then it's so important in my mind to be a part of the traditional career path first, so you experience what it's like. And you can say, I don't like these things, I like these things. How can I make it better? I worked in a traditional clinic for 4 years also, while also doing Prehab at the same time. So I got to experience the same frustrations that everyone else did. Man, I'm getting overworked. Man, I'm not getting paid that much. Man, my patients, I want to get them in, but I can't fit them in. So I would recommend everyone to do that, because it's super important to know what the problems are like and experience it firsthand. And then if you have an idea, let that flourish. Talk to people. There's, again, never a better time as a PT that we have so many other options now. And the world is continuing to change for all healthcare, all providers, especially with COVID and everything going online. But I think especially for PTs. So there's not a better time than now. Hopefully that answered your question. Thank you.
I saw that you had your CSCS. How is that integrating with like having a DPT as well? Like, how does that work when you're like working with patients, and especially patients of like different like fields of injury, like athletic injury compared to like just like general rehab?
Great question. So a CSCS stands for Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist. It's a specialty certification through the NSCA. Essentially, when we think of what traditional rehabilitation is, what the public views it as, is you have an injury, then you need to get a doctor's referral, then you need to go to PT, and you need to rehab your injury. Most people think that once they're out of pain, rehab is over. When we're going to say that there's a line 0 to 100. I'm at 100 right now. I'm not injured yet. I get injured, and now I go down to 20% of what we'll define as what my capacity is. Say it's my knee that's hurting, I'm now at 20% of my capacity. I start rehab, and now I'm going from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. I make it to 50 and I'm finally out of pain. Insurance companies say, oh, you're out of pain. You can walk now. You can get up and down the stairs. You can go to the bathroom. You're done. We're not covering you anymore. As a patient, I may know that, yeah, I can't play basketball yet, but I think I'm almost there. I'm at 50%, but I'm out of pain, so I'm happy. I don't want to keep doing any exercises. And then what happens is that you're at 50% capacity, some other small thing happens, and now you're dropping down to 10. And that's what's happening right now in physical rehabilitation. So if we can combine our knowledge and rehab with a strength and conditioning background, a training background, athletic training background, whatever it is, we can work with someone on the continuum of getting them from when they're hurt to out of pain to now back on the field. And when we talk about prehab, a lot of it's on the preventative side, but a lot of it is just what's after rehab. There's something missing after rehab to getting back on the field, and that's where prehab also comes in. So that's the blend of a training background, a strength and conditioning background, with a rehabilitation background. And that's why I think physical therapists, we are perfectly suited to do that. It's a lot harder. I work with great coaches and trainers, and they're also spanning that continuum as well. They have clients all the time that are saying my shoulder hurts a little bit, my knee hurts a little bit, and they're working backwards to help fix this problem where we're working at it from the other way. We are uniquely positioned to help people across the lifespan because of that knowledge, and I think every PT needs to understand strength and conditioning principles because that's how we get people from hurt all the way back to the field in a safe manner.